Hey guys, welcome back to another Chitty video. For today's video, since it's October, it's spooky season, I decided to do a video game horror survival tier list. This is just one that I found online. I didn't create one myself, so this is just a tier list that I found online that I thought would be fun to go through and rank. But before we do that, as always, make sure you subscribe. Go down, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell to get notified anytime I post a video. So let's just get into this video. So here we have our tier list. I'm tiermaker.com, and yeah, like I said, it's got a very decent list of video games. Most of it seems to be Resident Evil. Now, I will say there's a handful of games on here that I have not played. So, I think it's just going to be easiest to get rid of them right away. So, yeah, a lot of these Silent Hill games I haven't played. I've only played like the first 3. And then I kind of stopped after that. So, we'll get rid of all of those. They're probably garbage, I don't know. Like I said, I kind of gave up. And with that being said, I kind of gave up on Silent Hill because, you know what, like after 3 and 2, like, I feel like they were kind of like D and C area, like, maybe even D for Silent Hill 3, like, I don't know, I just didn't like it, wasn't that into it. The first one was great, second one was pretty good, and then, I don't know, I just kind of fell out of it, so yeah, Silent Hill 3, I would say like a D. Silent Hill 2, you know, I'll put it in D as well. But Silent Hill, the first Silent Hill, was pretty good. It had a good vibe, the spooky, you know, vibe. Like, it was just, it's a classic. I would have to probably say, like, B or A? Yeah, maybe A. Like I said, I mean, it's an old game, so looking back at it now, it's kind of hard to judge. But it was a classic for the time. Now, also, a lot of games that I haven't played are the Dead Rising games. So, get rid of most of those. I've heard they're good. I mean, they seem very popular. There's a lot of them out there. But, never played them. Alright, so next up we have Doom. There's a lot of Doom games on this list as well. I remember Doom 64. And from my recollection, it was pretty good. I mean, all the Doom games are pretty straightforward. You're just gunning your way through hell. You're just gunning your way through a bunch of freaking demons. Pretty straightforward, pretty good. I mean, from the horror survival aspect, I mean, I wouldn't say it's necessarily horror, but we'll go with it. But yeah, Doom 64, it was, like I said, it was pretty good. It was probably like an A as well. I think it might have been the first one I played. Then you have like the OG one, which, again, another classic. I'm probably going to put it in B though. I don't think it was as good as 64. But it was good, and like I said, look at that, all the other Dooms, I haven't really played those either. Like, I haven't played that one, I haven't played the remake. I mean, I can only imagine it's just as good. But yeah, I have not played any of the other ones. Alright, so next we have Dead Space. Now, I never played the second one, so we'll just put that right in the have not played list. But the first one is pretty good. The necromorphs are, I felt like, pretty freaking scary at the time. I would give that one another, probably an A tier. Like, I thought, again, for the time that it came out, pretty good. Had a good tense atmosphere. you never really knew when those necromorphs were gonna get you. I really enjoyed it. So the next game I have not played is Doki Doki Literature Club. Now at first it looks like a kind of like just a cute little game. You can like kind of like romance your friends or whatever. But like honestly, when reading into it and stuff, like it's a very kind of dark game. And it's almost like a game within the game, and it's really weird. It sounds kind of cool, honestly. But I have not played it. Next up we have Bloodborne. That's a pretty good classic. I'm not sure why it's exactly on this list. I mean, I guess it's got kind of horror aspects, but I mean, I feel like it's just as much horror as all the other games that FromSoft has done. But for the sake of argument and for the sake of this list, I'll give it like a B. Alright, next we have Alien Isolation. Another really good game in my opinion. You play the daughter of Ellen Ripley, and you have a xenomorph basically just kind of hunting around that you have to pretty much avoid while doing like the main mission quest. You're trying to find this recorder, and there's a lot of other stuff to it that you're trying to do, but yeah, the main gist of just trying to have to hide from the alien was really good. So yeah, I would again probably put Alien Isolation up in the A tier. Not quite S tier, but up in A tier. Next is Dead by Daylight. Now, Dead by Daylight is a pretty decent game, but I think the fact that it's just like a multiplayer kind of help each other do certain things and escape kind of takes away from it. But at the same time, it does make it enjoyable. And when you're playing with people that you know, it is really good fun. But from the horror survival aspect, I mean, it's not necessarily that tense. Because usually you're playing with a group of, at least for me, you're usually playing with a group of friends that, you know, you're just too busy being dumbasses. And it kind of takes away from that feeling, I guess. But it's still a good game. I would give it like a B tier. So now we got a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's games as well. Now I haven't played all of these as well, but like the first one was pretty good. Again, a classic. You're just controlling the cameras and making sure Freddy and his friends don't get to you while you're working the night shift. Pretty straightforward and simple, and it's really holds that like suspenseful feel, and it has some good jump scares. A tier, no doubt about it. Five Nights at Freddy 2, not quite as good. I mean, it was still good, but I feel like they were trying to change it up obviously a little bit from the first one, which obviously you always want it to be the same but different. And I don't know, I liked the first one a lot. The second one was okay, B tier. And then the third and fourth one, I have not actually played. And then we have Sister Location, which introduced a lot more, which introduced a few new characters, and it kind of went away from the just sitting in the stall or sitting in the security room looking at cameras. You had to actually go around and do other things, you know, so you actually had to go around and like do things, solve puzzles, while, you know, again, just trying not to get murdered by all these different animatronics. I would say maybe A tier, maybe B tier. I mean, it's iffy, but I'll give it B tier. Like I said, it wasn't quite as good as the first one, but it was good. I liked what they were going for. And then you had Security Breach. For me, they really kind of flopped at this point. I I think, I don't know, the atmosphere wasn't really as like spooky as it could be. The game itself had a lot of bugs, so I feel like when it first came out, and like, I don't know, it just, I would say F tier. They were trying to do too much. It was, I don't know, it wasn't good. Just wasn't good. Alright, so now, as you can see, half this list is Resident Evil. And again, I've only played like a handful of these games. They got like 50 of them. I've played like 3. So we could easily get rid of all the games I haven't played. So there, now that we've gotten rid of like 90% of that list, we have like the 4 games that I have played, or at least played a little bit of. I never did finish Village. Resident Evil Biohazard was pretty good. This one, they really got into like the spooky mansion atmosphere. Like, you had the Baker family, which were all terrifying. Like, that game itself, I feel like A tier, maybe S tier, A tier. Like, I don't know, S tier is just hard to give away. It's gotta be such a perfect game. And I mean, Resident Evil Biohazard was good, just wasn't quite there. And then you had the original Resident Evil, which I enjoyed. I had troubles with it. There were times where it was like just frustrating, because again, with it being an older game, a lot of those older games just had moments where it was like between camera or just trying to figure out the puzzle, it kind of took away from the game. So I would probably put that in B tier. And maybe even C tier. I don't know. Like I said, there was just a lot of frustrating moments in that game for me that I feel like nowadays would have been made a lot easier. And then we had Resident Evil Village. From what I've played and what I've seen, I would probably give it a B tier. Like, I really enjoyed like the spooky doll mansion part, because you know, you always gotta have a spooky doll part in any game. Pretty good. While you're trying to, you know, find the pieces of your daughter. It was weird. It was fun. And then Resident Evil 2. Honestly, again, wasn't a big fan. Might have even been worse than Resident Evil. Maybe an unpopular opinion, but I just didn't like it as much as the first one. Alright, next up we got Outlast. The second Outlast, never played. The first one, I don't know what it was. I just couldn't get into it. It just, I don't know what it was. But I'm gonna give it a D tier because I just couldn't get into it. Fatal Frame. This one is a classic. The camera like aspect of it and having to photograph the ghosts and stuff. It was just a really fun game that again had, this one was really kind of more focused on that like suspenseful horror rather than, you know, bloody or whatever. This one was definitely more just kind of the suspenseful, investigating kind of horror that I like. That I would probably give S tier. Like, it was really good. Now, unfortunately, I never did play any of the other games after that. I probably should check them out, but maybe I can do that on this channel. Let me know down in the comments below if you'd like me to play some Fatal Frame or even some of these other games for you. Alright, next, Evil Within 1 and 2. Evil Within 1, I didn't play as much. I remember it vaguely when it first came out. I'm gonna give it like a B, maybe a C. I don't know if I can put it up there quite as good as the other ones. Again, it has like that suspenseful, especially the beginning was kind of suspenseful. Evil Within 2 was pretty fun as well. But I don't know, I feel like they were both middle of the road. I did enjoy them, never did complete either of them. Alright, next up we had the Friday the 13th game, which is kind of like the Dead by Daylight games. It's a multiplayer online game. Again, especially being multiplayer, there's just so many issues with it that you run into. There were so many bugs with this game, and the fact that, like, you know, you're just playing it online with people kind of takes away from the whole Friday the 13th vibe. I feel like the game is F tier. Like, so now we have 2 games left. Well, 3 games, 2 in 1 series. And that is The Last of Us Part 2, and House of Ashes. Now, guys, I'm just gonna get this out of the way. The Last of Us and Last of Us Part 2 are easily S tier. Like, no doubt about it. Both these games are incredible. The second one, honestly, is better than the first one. If I put another tier above S tier, that would be The Last of Us 2. Such a good game, such a good story. You have Ellie, who is immune to the virus in the first game, and you have to basically, she starts off, you're taking her to the Fireflies and through this you decide, you end up forming a relationship with this girl, which stems on the fact that you lose your daughter at like the beginning of all this. You first start the game off, the first one, as Joel's daughter, and yeah, it's very sad. The outbreak basically just starts, and they're like trying to just kill anyone that they think's affected. It's a really sad beginning, and honestly, the whole series is sad. So yeah, I would strongly recommend it. I don't want to like spoil too much. I would just say go play these games if you haven't already. Amazing games. So then, last but not least, we have House of Ashes, part of the Dark Pictures anthologies. This one was alright. Like, I think just because of the setting, it's like a military deal, and you get stuck in basically like the desert, this little like temple thing, and it's very movie-esque, which I think maybe kind of takes away from it, and it's almost sort of predictable in my opinion, but it was still pretty good. I would give it B tier. Alright, so there you have it. There is my video game horror survival tier list. Let me know what you guys think about this list down in the comments below. Let me know some of the games that may not have been on here that you like or think should have been on here. And yeah, give me your opinions, give me your thoughts on these games on this list. Alright, so that's the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, and as I said earlier, let me know what you thought of some of these games. Have you played any of them? Like I said, were there any that you have played that weren't on this list? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, and hit that notification bell to get notified anytime I post a new video. And thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye!